My dogs are barking immediately. It's checking connection. It's doing all the things. All right, it says we're live. Welcome, welcome, everyone. I am so excited to share with you tonight one of I would call this like the foundations of what it takes to get started with real estate. Okay, so I see you all jumping in. Hi Brittany. Welcome, friend. Of course, my dogs are barking right now, literally. Um, Hi, Rejuve Med Spa. Hello, I love it. Oh, Dr. Caceres, it's so good to see you. Moon Rainbow, welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes. Okay, so you guys, I'm going to give you a minute to join in. Thank you for all of those of you who are patiently waiting. I know. Oops. Unable to start streaming, it says. Continue with Dr. Rachel. Okay, hopefully I'm streaming. Right, if you wouldn't mind letting me know in the chat how we're looking on all the platforms before I go ahead and dive in. I would appreciate okay. Everything. Oh, okay. So do we need to do something about LinkedIn? I just got a pop-up, right? Just so you know. Just so you know, just got a pop up. Not exactly sure if that was from LinkedIn or elsewhere. And I do want to bring this down just a tad bit. Just a tad bit, if you don't mind, just to get the camera. Okay, because we're live on Facebook. Okay, it was only LinkedIn. Bummer. Bummer, bummer, bummer. Okay, because this information is important for everyone. Hello, hello. Okay, and I see someone jumping onto our video request. I yeah, hang out with me, friends. Yeah, I would love to have some folks onto our video request. I think the phone's stabilized. Okay, so all is well. Alrighty, guys, without further ado, let's dive in, my friends. If you're a doctor thinking about diving into real estate, but you're feeling like, I'm not exactly sure where to start, especially when it comes to finding funding, okay? This is what we're talking about because I wish someone told me about what I'm sharing with you tonight when I was starting out. Back then, I didn't have all the cash to play around with, and I made mistakes, made lots of mistakes. But now I'm so humbled and honored and grateful to say, with 18 investment properties under our belt, I've learned a few things, and that is why I'm here to share with you today. Okay, I want to help you avoid some of the pitfalls that we leverage and start building wealth the smart way. All right, so welcome, welcome in, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Luxury Rental Doctor Show. I'm Dr. Rachel Gainsborough, your go to healthcare professional turned real estate investor. We operate out of Georgia, Florida, Arizona, Texas, Tennessee, Pennsylvania. You might have seen one of our luxury midterm rentals featured on a Netflix TV show called Buy My House. So that is streaming now still. But what really drives me is sharing all of these invaluable insights with each of you. Hey, Malachi, I see you, my friend. Because sharing is caring, right? And so, this information in our community, especially my hard working women in medicine, women who are just juggling it all, multiple jobs, family commitments. We're that sandwich generation where we're taking care of our caregivers, our past caregivers, like our parents, right? And then we have our kiddos we're taking care of as well. So I know you all, you're wanting to make ends meet, you're wanting to make that impact. And some of you are now realizing, you know what? There's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way than this. So, just a quick disclaimer though, before we dive into the goodness, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a tax strategist or a lender or anything like that. So tonight's session is purely for educational purposes. Okay, so just keep that in mind. I want you to consult with the qualified professionals that are in your corner before making any investment or financial decision. Okay, so let me do this. I'm going to stop sharing screens with you, right? Just because I'm getting a little bit nervous that I noticed that things are a little bit jumpy. So I want to make sure that um, all is well. Okay, so that helped. I don't look so jumpy anymore. Okay, awesome, awesome, awesome. So welcome everyone. Super excited to be here tonight. Now that I've said that disclaimer, I do want you to not hesitate. Do not hesitate to jump in with any questions, with any thoughts, with any um, feelings, with your expertise. This is your time. I want to make sure that we can cover what matters to you the most. And speaking of professionals, although I'm not a professional, Malachi, King Malachi in the chat, he is a professional in the space as well. All right. So let's dive in. Let's break this down, okay? Let's break this down. I want you to get the goods for me. I want to just break it down so that you hear it straight from me how we were able to build our portfolio, how members in our community were able to build their portfolios as well. And this information that I'm sharing you is the latest, is the greatest, is what we're actually doing. It's what they're actually doing as well. So keep that in mind. What I love about our community is although I do not share anything with you based off of theory, based off of what I've heard others are doing in the real estate space, but I get to leverage my own expertise and leverage the experiences of the members of our community. And think about a community that has purchased over $7 million in real estate over the last 6 months. Yeah, there's been some ups, there's been some downs. We've gone all the way around. And so my goal is to share with you what is going on. Okay. So, in our latest episode on funding strategies, we talked all about what we're doing right now. And we talked about why right now is actually the perfect time to dive into real estate. We talked about how to build out your funding stack, um, which really is a two-pronged approach. I call it my two phases. So, phase one of the two crucial steps, you want to secure the right mortgage loan, and phase two, you want to plan out your down payment. Okay, those are the two phases of your funding stack. Although there are like sub phases if you're going to be finding funding for your furnishings and things like that, and we'll touch that a little bit. We On that last episode, we also took a deep dive, and I'll link it here. On that last episode, we took a deep dive into what I call my hidden money matrix. That's where you can uncover funds that you didn't even know you had. So that is an activity that our members, I recommend that they go through. We also went over the three most common loan types that our members are using time and time and time again. And these loan types are an absolute game changer. Okay, number one is the second home loan, or AKA affectionately known as the vacation home loan. And what I love about those loans is that these are 10% down loans. I think I'm getting a little bit too excited. The reason I love these loans is because I can hold on to more of my cash and have a little bit more cash reserves. Right now, it's a time to try to hold on to as much as of your cash as you possibly can. So cash reserves is absolute key. Okay. So we talk about the second home loans. We talk about the DSCR loans. That's your debt service coverage ratio loans. Those are also known as business purpose loans. We use those, especially when we have hit like maybe a 3 or 4 property purchase threshold. Once you get to like your fourth or fifth purchase, you hit a ceiling, because although with those second home loans or the FHA loans, you can get 10 of those, but the bottleneck is your DTI, your debt to income ratio, because you got all these homes, you got a lot of debt, but you don't have a lot of income to show for it when you're first starting out, right? So we have a staggered approach where we'll do a FHA, DSCR, FHA, DSCR, just just to extend the amount of lending and funding that we can get. So take a look at that. Think about that. Go in there, thinking about how you want to build out your funding phases so that you can continue to purchase property within a reasonable time period. Okay. So that's number two. We talked about second home loans, we talked about DSCR loans, and third but not least, we talked about these bank statement loans. And so bank statement loans are loans for those who say, a lot of you are working private practice, right? You don't necessarily have a W-2, you have a 1099. Some of you are locums tenens, you're travel physicians, travel nurses. So again, you have a 1099, and so you have your own business. From a tax perspective, you have a lot of paper losses. And Malachi, feel free to overwrite me, okay? Because I am not a tax professional, but essentially, you have a lot of paper losses. Like, you look like you got nothing but losses, but you got a lot of deposits come in. Some very, very high value deposits coming in. So those are the bank statement loans. Okay. So those are the three loans that I want you to be thinking about when you're ready to jump into the real estate investment phases. We primarily focused on short term rentals and midterm rentals. We leveraged single family homes for the most part. And I went really, really deep into why I love single family homes versus all of the other asset classes. Although I will be underwriting a boutique hotel tonight, but that's a different conversation for a whole different day. Okay. So for those of you who are just joining or are not well acquainted, I wanted to give a quick review on the first three loan types before we dive into some of the creative strategies that I'm seeing lately being leveraged inside of our community. Okay. So, hello to all of you who are joining. Guys, again, if you have any questions, just go ahead and jot it down. We are answering questions while we are here. So, really excited that you're here. Okay. So, let's talk about the second home loans, aka the vacation home loans. Now, these vacation home loans are backed by Fannie Mae, they're backed by Freddie Mac, and they often, again, just require 10% down. Like, who doesn't want to do 10% down? However, again, when you're nearing, um, you get to hold on to your cash flow to start, which I love. However, if you're a little bit on the older end, okay, some of our senior illustrious individuals in the community, you may want to go with a higher percentage down so that you're really comfortable with that monthly payment. Okay, so again, speak with your financial advisor. But if you go, with a 15 or 20, 25% down, even 30% down, you're going to have a lower monthly payment. And if you're not in your peak performance phase in life where you're working it out and grinding it out and you want as low monthly payments as possible, then a larger down payment is what you would want to take advantage of. Oh, hey, Estrogen. So good to see you. Okay, this is my first message that I'm seeing on on oh, look at what I just did. I feel so good, guys. Okay. Is MTR treated? Okay. Estrogen, thank you for asking that question. Is that a statement or is that a question? Let me know. Let me know in the chat. I so appreciate you joining. I feel so fancy. I just did the little thing and then the comment popped up. Okay. Oh, okay. So great. So Estrogen is saying, is MTR treated more like STR or LTR for lender? Okay, hang tight, Estrogen. Let me go over a little bit more, and then we'll talk about that because I don't know if it's lending that we're worried about. We're more worried about the tax strategy behind that. So it depends, but nevertheless, I think you're in good hands. But you're asking the right questions. Okay. All right. So for the second home loans, you can have, like I said a little bit earlier, you can have up to 10% of these loans, but by the fourth or fifth, your debt to income ratio is going to start to be effective. So be very mindful of that. Additionally, jumbo loans, think about jumbo loans for properties in certain locations. So if your property's purchase price exceeds a certain amount, now you need a whole different loan. It's called a jumbo loan. And although FHA, Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae can cover that, they're going to want a larger percentage down, as far as I know. Okay, so be mindful of that. DSCR loans, again, DSCR loans, what's great about them is that they're based on the property's revenue. So they're not based on your personal income. So these are ideal for scaling your investment to get to the third investment, the fourth investment. Typically, they require 15%, 25 to 25% down. Okay, so want to make sure that that is stated. Now, DSCR loans, their benefit is that when you purchase them, you may be able to purchase them under an LLC. We have some lenders inside of our Rolodex that can potentially close under an LLC so that it doesn't impact your personal credit score, which is amazing. Then you can continue to scale. So keep that in mind, okay? Very important to consider. For any type of investment property, like a long-term rental, a mid-term rental, a short-term rental, the DSCR loan can be leveraged, a business purpose loan can be leveraged. But if the lender is understanding that it's a vacation home or a short term rental, they're going to calculate more revenue in terms of the expectations for how the property will perform. So be mindful of that. So if you're purchasing in a vacation rental market, for instance, the DSCR lenders are looking at tools like AirDNA to do their underwriting. So that's why it's important. We're going to, let me finish my sentence. I always like interrupt my sentence to finish my sentence. So that's why it's important for you to leverage tools like AirDNA, understand how to use tools like AirDNA in order to then do your own underwriting to know what the lender will expect to lend you, right? So if you, according to your own analysis, you're thinking the property is going to generate $80,000 a year gross. However, the lender is looking at it from the lens of a long-term rental, thinking it's going to generate, $40,000 a year, gross. Well, that's going to be different, right? The whole lending, mechanism is going to be different. Your purchasing power is going to be different, right? So keep that in mind. And again, we mentioned bank statement loans. These are gaining a lot of popularity, especially for those who are self-employed. A lot of people have a side hustle right now. A lot of people are self-employed, and so they don't really, as far as I know, they don't require IRS tax returns quite yet. So they're really a great option to getting in there if you are self-employed. Okay, so we talked about this. We covered this on our funding strategy session, which is the last episode, and we're going to link the episode here. We also touched on some non-traditional strategies that are key. They're absolutely key for expanding your real estate portfolio. So we talked about portfolio loans. What's interesting, what's great about portfolio loans is that you can actually take a set of like 5 or 10 properties, their loans, their FHA loans, and stick them into one consolidated loan. So that's going to free up your capacity so that you're able to secure additional FHA lending, additional ones of those 10% downs that we know, we like, we love, we keep talking about, okay? We also talked about some creative approaches. So the members of our community, a lot of our doctors are house hacking. We house hacked for a long time. A lot of our doctors did live in flips. I've done live in flips. I don't recommend it, but I've done it. My kids, they're like, we've had it. They've inhaled so many dust, so many particles of dust. It is not a vibe. A lot of our docs are using physician home loans where they have 0% down. It's a primary home. They would live there first and then they can convert it into a rental. But what I love about that is there's no PMI on those loans. So our members are taking advantage of that as well. We covered VA loans, we covered USDA loans, we covered a number of alternative paths for 0% down, but they do have their stipulations and they do have specific requirements. And we also mentioned things like hard money lending, seller financing, subject to is a hot topic right now. These are powerful tools as well, but you have to be in the right position to take advantage of them because they can be very, very high risk or very, very difficult to come by. Okay. All right. So I'm going to take a moment right now to take a look at some of the questions that we are seeing in the chat. I can't tell you how appreciative I am of these questions. All right, so for estrogen, I'm circling back to you, my friend. MTR is treated similar to LTR, long-term rentals for lending. However, I do know some short-term rental lenders that are willing to lend on mid-term rental properties as well. So great question. Next question. All right, estrogen says, yes, DSCR loans are higher rates. Yes, because they are like a no doc loan. They require less documentation from the borrower since cash flow of the asset covers the loan debt. Yes. So you got one in 2002 at 8.8%. Goodness gracious. That 8.8, like last month, I think just the regular FHAs were 8.8, it felt like. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing that, estrogen. Okay, I thought I saw another question pop up, but it disappeared from me. Oh, there it is. Okay, they're coming in. Hi, Marie. Marie says, do the interest rates tend to be higher on DSCR? Yep. That's what Estrogen was just sharing. The interest rates tend to be higher for sure. Yes, they do tend to be higher. So you want to make sure you have underwritten that actual property to make sure you understand what would an FHA loan look like on that property? What would a DSCR loan look like on that property? And you want to run both of those models, both of those scenarios to make sure that it still makes sense for you. Okay. Okay, our DSCR loan has a 5-year prepayment penalty, so you can't refi. You said you got it in 2002, right? So you should be able to refi, or was it in 2022, my friend? Let me know, Estrogen. So, because you should be able to refi if you got it in 2002. Yes. So be mindful of the prepayment penalty for sure. For sure. You want to be mindful of that. So there are some pros, there are some cons. You want to go ahead and evaluate um, all of the scenarios, all of the pros, all of the cons for that particular situation. Okay. All right. So let's kick off and talk about some of the tools that our members are using right now, even if they couldn't come up with all of the funding for their particular deal. Okay. So I want to talk about these just because they're not necessarily funding or lending products that, okay, 2022, awesome. All right, so I want to talk about these not because they're widely known or widely available to the public, but I want to show you how some of our members are navigating and they have the ability, right, to figure things out. Because inside of our communities, we say one thing, we say everything is figure outable. And that is what we say. We say everything is figure outable. And here's what they figured out, okay? Private money lenders. There are private money lenders or lending companies out there that can offer quick capital. And so I'm in a number of masterminds where that's available. Inside of our community, there are partnerships that are formed to help overcome that bottleneck. And so, yes, the interest rates on those, and I'm glad Estrogen was bringing it up as well as Marie. The interest rates on those are going to be higher as well because if you are not able to get funding or lending from the bank and you're going to get lending from an individual or from a lending entity, well, they're going to want you to make their while, you know. So I've seen those private money lenders or hard money lenders lend at 10, 12%. But be mindful of that. Some of our members have gone that route as well. So just want to make sure that you're aware of that. Another member of our community leveraged a partnership within the community. So this one is really one I actually took advantage of when I started to scale. There was a portfolio in the Poconos that I went to purchase. So I teamed up with someone else who was in my mastermind. There was complete alignment there. So that's something that you want to take into consideration as well. As a doctor, you have a steady income, you have a lot of credibility. It makes you really an attractive partner for someone who's maybe looking to invest but needs someone reliable to help make that happen. So Dr. Ryan inside of our community, after he had launched his first short-term rental in Michigan, it's doing really well. He decided to partner on his second short-term rental. There are some partners that he had in a multifamily, I would say, mastermind that he's a part of. They didn't do short-term rentals, but they were really impressed with how he was running his. They were really impressed with the numbers. The numbers that he was getting paled. Their numbers paled in comparison to the numbers that Dr. Ryan was seeing. So because of that, they got really excited. Say, yeah, we'll partner with you on this next deal, which was absolutely amazing. Okay, another loan product that's out there that I have seen as hit or miss, and this one's kind of risky. Okay, I will say that it's kind of risky. Are SBA loans? I've seen people go after a small business administration loans. They're touted as a hidden gem. They do offer excuse me, they do offer lower interest rates, some pretty good terms on paper, and it really could be ideal for acquisition. But I've seen when things go wrong, I know a couple of people who have leveraged this years ago. When things go wrong, they really go after you. So be very, very mindful of using and leveraging SBA loans, okay? So I just wanted to make sure that you're aware that that's out there. However, there are other business loans that are out there. There are business brokers that you can work with to get business purpose loans. So I have two members of our community, Val and Alina. They both have their own private practices, and so they are able to take advantage of business purpose loans that they use, like commercial business loans, similar to DSCR loans, but different. They're able to, oops, I just got a text message. They're able to take advantage of the funds from that broker to then purchase real estate. Okay. So wanted to make you aware that that's out there, and they're using it to again, they can use it to purchase and kind of serve as a stopgap for purchasing their property. The terms, you want to make sure that you're very comfortable with the terms because the interest rates are high as well. I had a scenario where a member of our community, they bought their first property, they bought their second property, and you know what? The equity and the um, appreciation just completely skyrocketed. But they had spent all of their money on the first two properties and just kind of beautifying it, getting it together. And so now they had a ton of equity in the properties. The properties were bringing in cash flow. They were building out their business systems. And so a year later, they're like, Rachel, we want to buy a third one, but we don't have the upfront capital in order to purchase the third one. So what do we do? So now I'm going to give you a little bit more of an advanced strategy. Okay. So guys, again, keep dropping your questions in the chat. I think I'm doing this right. Hang on. Okay, there we go. Keep asking your questions in the chat, and I am going to be sure to cover each and every one of them. Okay. All right, so here's where they were stuck. They had a ton of equity, but they weren't exactly sure how to access it. Okay, so, and these were beautiful luxury rentals. Everything was running smoothly. The equity was tied up. So they were ready. They said, okay, we're ready for our third one. But again, they couldn't access the funds without, selling the property. So this is exactly where they were. Shout out to Chris. That's our member, Chris. And so, what's special about this next funding strategy or next funding product that I'm going to share called Nectar? This was a way for them to get some funding based off of the cash flow. So, based off the cash flow of the property, they got financing for their next property. And so, there were no origination fees. The rates were higher. There was no impact to the credit. There was no lien on the property, but it was based on the fact that they were getting really good cash flow. They were able to get funding, like a nice big lump sum on their property. So this is just a very, very, very unique product that's out there. And that's what I do inside of the community. If someone has like a bottleneck with funding, I just have to think in my mind, okay, exactly how do we figure out how to make this happen? Okay. So this is how they were able to get the cash that they needed. They got it within like seven days or so, which was great. And they got it without having to give up the equity in their property. They got it without having to increase their debt to income ratio. So that was a really, really good deal. Okay. All right. So another tool that we have inside of our community is funding just to fill in the gap of furnishings and all of the upfront expenses. Okay. So we have a lender in our community specifically for our doctors, doc to doc lending with Zwade. He's an orthopedic surgeon, I believe. He's some type of surgeon. So doc to doc lending, they leverage and they're able to help out with funding, which is really, really dope. Okay, so next up, we're going to talk about an interesting down payment strategy that one of our members we're able to take advantage of. Then I'm going to show you guys a little demo on how I go into markets looking for different lenders to work with. But before moving on, let me take a look at some questions in the chat. Okay, so Estrogen said, I'd like to point out that one mistake we made with our DSCR loan is we didn't put enough down on the property. So when we did a cost seg study and took the bonus depreciation that year, we did not get a huge tax return that we expected. So we're only using a 10% down loan. Are you going to get any? Hang on. So if you're only using a 10% down loan, are you going to get any of it back if you take bonus depreciation from the first year? Okay, so these are really, really good questions. I love these questions. We're able to get a whole lot more because for us, our cost segregation is not only on the actual structure of the property, we're able to take some deductions off of the improvements of the property, and that's the furnishings as well. So just putting that out there. Hopefully, hopefully, okay, great. Thank you, Ryan, for letting me know. Hopefully, that's legal. Oh my gosh, I sure hope so. Okay, yes. So we take cost segregations off of a lot of things. Yeah, so hit me up. catch me catch me in my DMs if you have any questions about that. Hopefully they're doing it the right way. But yes, we get a lot off of our cost tags. Okay, so next question is, let's see. Yes, so that's a great question. So Estrogen is saying, talk to your tax professional before you decide which loan to choose and make sure you're putting enough down on the property that you will get a substantial amount back if you do bonus depreciation. Love that recommendation. Good one, my friend. Okay, next question, Stormy. Oh my goodness. Okay, Stormy says, do you feel AirDNA is an accurate tool? I do, Stormy, but you can't take it at face value, okay? So here's how it works. You want to kind of clean up the data a little bit, and then once you've cleaned it up and you filtered it down to exactly what it is, that's going to like really match your property and whatever the information is that is going to be the most accurate, then you have like the best tool in the world. And what do I mean by that? So I want to see properties that have at least one guest review every single month for the last 12 months. I go in reverse chronological order. So if AirDNA gives me a list of properties and it gives me, okay, this property made 107 a year last year. This property made 105. This property made 103. This property made 102. This property made 97, 95, 92, 87. So I look at everything on a table. And so before I go in, I say, you know what, my property, the quality of my property fits right in here between the 97 and the 105 like range. So I think I'm going to make between there. Before I do that, I need to make sure those numbers are accurate first. And whatever's not accurate or whatever's not a true comp, I remove them from my list so that I can get a better picture of what it looks like. And what are the things that are not true comps? Well, those are properties that are far superior than my property. So if it has like a lagoon style lazy river pool and I don't even have a pool, I'm gonna remove it. Or if I go into the review, it's a brand new property, there are 0 reviews, then I'm removing it because like where are those numbers coming from for real, right? So yes, once you cleaned up those two things, like you're looking for properties that are truly similar to your property, and you're looking for properties that have like a track record that has been rented the entire last year, and so those numbers, are most likely very accurate, and it's not an outlier. So if everyone's in the 80,000, 70,000 range, and then you have one that's 300,000 a year, it's like, wait a minute, so those are outliers. So you clean up for outliers as well. Okay, so once you've done that, Stormy, you are good to go. Yes. Kristen, hey doctor. Okay, Kristen says we have one rental and want to pull equity from that property to buy another property without doing a cash out refinance? So that's a really good question. So you can do a couple of things. You can do a home equity line of credit. That wouldn't be a cash out refi. Have you considered that, Kristen? And the one rental that you have, I wonder if there's a long term lending product that's similar to what I was just talking about with Nectar. I'm not sure if there's one for long term rentals. I'm not the long term rental expert at all. But that's a great question. Let's copy that question, Rye, and let's send it to Jeff to see what he thinks about that. Let's see whether or not he thinks that's something that Kristen has some additional options we can take advantage of. Okay. All right. So Marie says, can you use a HELOC to renovate an acquired property? Okay, Marie, that's a great question. I don't see why not. If you're doing capital improvement, the word acquired property is interesting to me. It sounds very mysterious. Yeah, so if you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit of what that looks like as well. And Marie, we can probably send that question to our uh, lending circle. We have a wise counsel lending circle inside of our community. We can send it to our wise counsel lenders to see if there are any stipulations. I don't know all the rules around what that looks like. So Marie, that's a good question. I'm just giving you some generalities. Okay, Acelia says, can equity increase if you have a backyard RDU? Ooh, I like this question. So it's like a casita, tiny home. So our equity has increased due to a tiny home, a casita. I don't see why it wouldn't, but all markets are different. They operate so differently. But I truly believe that it can increase. Okay, I see some people saying hello. Hi, Dr. Carlene. So good to see you. Dr. Perrin, how are you? Oh, Miss Sheila. Oh, it's so good to see you. Okay, loving this, loving this, loving this. You're so welcome, my friends. You are so welcome. Oh my gosh, the interactions tonight is popping, okay? It is popping. So, guys, tonight we are talking funding super pack. We're talking about getting your funding together, getting your life together on a funding basis. Okay, so now I want to talk about something kind of creative that I saw one of our members actually take advantage of. And I want to make sure that you guys are aware of it just in case. Because last time when we did your hidden money matrix, it's like, okay, where's all your money hiding? Let's create kind of a table to collect all of that information in order to make sure that you know what's available to you. One of our members, we're going back and forth. Well, she actually used what is called, she took advantage of her um, pledge assets for her down payment. So, and specifically, the pledge assets that she used were her stocks. Yes, stocks could actually be used as collateral to secure a loan. And so, when you pledge your stocks as collateral, they act as a guarantee for the lender. We have a lot of people who have been passively investing, they have stocks, and it's just sitting there and it's not really doing that much for them. So, they can leverage that and they, again, the pledge assets act as a guarantee for the lender. However, they are repaying the loan. So once they have repaid the loan, they get access to those stocks back. The lien is removed. Okay. So this is kind of one of those marginal, very unique and creative ways to take advantage of a resource that you may have in your portfolio. So thank you. I'm not going to name her. I'll just because she's one of the high net worth individuals in our community. Let's just call her A. Thank you, A, for reminding us of that strategy. We had another member, R, who actually took advantage of that strategy as well. But that strategy allowed her to really secure property within a moment's time without fully liquidating their investment. Okay. All right. So, guys, I do have a little bit of a show and tell for you, and I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to accomplish this. I may do a camera like reverse, and you guys on Instagram are going to see like my salad dressing. I've got a big jar of salad dressing here, but it's okay. I'm fine. It's gonna be okay. All right, so I want to show you a little like hack that I use whenever I am going into a market and say I'm not finding the lender that's willing to say yes to me. Okay, here's the deal. I don't take no for an answer, so I keep asking until something happens. Okay, so I ask and I ask and I ask until something happens. That is the name of the game. And so because of that, I have to use some, I would call it like a few non-traditional mechanisms. Okay, so first and foremost, whenever you are looking to work with a lender, I avoid big box lenders. Okay, so like there was one called Loan Depot back in the day. There was one called, oh no, this is pausing. Okay, there we go. Like Loan Depot back in the day. There are a few out there like Rocket, those types of lenders. I don't really use them for my real estate investing strategy. I use, again, we have vetted lenders inside of our community. Mr. 10% Down, he's one of my favorite. I like lenders who will work with me to close an LLC as an option. Okay, those are not that easy to find these days, but they are out there as well. And whenever I have some doubt, I leverage a tool. I leverage a tool that I like to use in order to find out who are the lenders in that current market that are lending or properties that are currently selling. Okay. So I'm going to show you what that tool is in a moment, but this is how our members were able to find like 0% down loans from a variety of regional uh, lenders, 0% down, 5% down loans from a variety of regional lenders for vacation homes. Okay, so just wanted to put that out there. I think this is just really, really important. And I'm going to share my screen with you just so that I can show you what I'm talking about. Okay, let me walk you through it before I share my screen. Okay, first and foremost, I like to go into a market and look for properties that are recently sold. And from there, once I found properties that are recently sold, my goal is to look up the county information that was filed to see who is the lender that closed on the property, and then I like to go and find that lender to help me close on my property. All right, so we're gonna switch it up on a demo in a moment, but I do want to explain the demo and answer some questions beforehand. Okay, so Marie, I see your question here. So Marie's giving us a little bit of clarification. So Marie said, if you buy a property for STR that needs renovation, using your HELOC on your personal home to fund the renovation. Okay, awesome, great question, Marie. I'm going to outsource that question to my lender. When you said acquire, I don't know why I drew a blank. I was like, did she acquire it from a family member? Like, what did she mean acquire? So thank you for that clarification. So I will outsource that, Marie. And if you wouldn't mind sending me a DM, we will definitely find out for you. Okay, next up is Azalea. Hi, Azalea. Azalea says, are you familiar with the all-in-one loan offset? All-in-one loan slash offset mortgage loan. Okay, no, I'm not. Tell me all about it, friend. I'm always looking for more lending products that are out there. I know about the 211. Like, just because the interest rates were high over the past few years, guys, there have been some really, really interesting loans that have come out of the woodworks, right? Very interesting products. And you know what? Good for them, right? Help us solve some problems with these lending products. So I am here for it, my friend. Okay. So, like I said a little bit earlier, now I'm going to switch to the demo. I'm going to just show you two quick slides. The first slide or the first screenshot is just Zillow. I went into Zillow. I found a market. I just picked Panama City Beach, Florida. And then I selected sold, not for sale. Usually go into Zillow looking for properties that are for sale. This time I selected sold. I want to see properties that were sold. Okay, my friends. So for those of you who are my beautiful friends on Instagram, I'm going to switch you up first because I want to make sure you can see the screen. Okay, there. I'm going to flip it. Okay, there we go. Okay, it's kind of working out. Sort of, kind of. All right. And then for the rest of my friends in here, I'm going to let you guys watch me fight for my life. How about that? All right, there we go. Yay, barely. Oh, okay, I can just move my little head like this. Okay, it is all good. All right, so again, go into the market you're interested in, my friends, right? You're going to go into the market. And then once you go in, you're going to put in your location, like right in there. Your location goes right in there. Okay. Once you've entered in your location, you can enter in your address to get to as close to your property as needed. However, this is the magic right here. You want to go to sold. Okay. Once you go to sold, what's going to happen is you now have the ability to see all the properties that were sold in that market. Okay. So from there, you want to go in here to the sort, and in the sort, you want to go to newest. Okay. Sort it based on the newest property first. Okay. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Let me zoom in. Can you guys see that? Okay. Like in here, newest. Can you guys see that? Over here, sort by newest, okay? And then from there, you want to just pick a property. Pick any property that you would like, okay? So you're going to select any property and just copy the address and go into the county clerk's office data to look at the public information for the property, okay? So your next step is going into the county clerk's data, okay? Oh, okay. So, right, thank you for letting me know. How do I share with our Facebook friends, cuz our Facebook friends aren't able to see. How do I share with our Facebook friends? Hmm. Darn it. Right, can you drop the YouTube link for them so that they can see, because I know our YouTube friends can see, but I don't know if our Facebook friends are able to see. But thank you for letting me know. Okay. Right is doing it. Okay, so let me paint the picture for everyone. Again, go to good old fashioned Zillow. You want to then identify the market that you want to invest in, put in the city, put in the city, the address, whatever you have, then filter to sold. And then once you have filtered to sold, now you have Zillow, and Zillow has just a list of all the sold properties, okay? It has a list of all the properties that are sold, and you want to see the most recent properties that are sold that are pretty much in close proximity to your current property that you're looking to invest in, okay? So from there, you want to look up the county clerk's office. Okay, I'm not going to leave you hanging. I use a tool called PropStream. I know this, hear me out, hear me out. This is a little advanced, but I use a tool called PropStream. And from there, I select down here where it says mortgage transactions. Okay, I put in the information, mortgage transactions, and down here you get the lender's name, right? You get the lender's name, and the lender's name is who we want to use and who we want to reach out to in terms of who we want to work with for our mid-term rental, short-term rental funding. Okay, so that's the process, my friend. That is the process. So hopefully that was helpful. I wish this was this demo. In my head, this demo was so smooth. Like, oh yeah, this is gonna be so smooth, right? But this was the clunkiest demo on planet Earth. Oh my goodness. But hopefully that was helpful. I'm going to leave it here on this page just in case our Facebook family is jumping in. I want to make sure they're able to see that portion of the screen, but I just wanted to put it out there for all of our peeps. Guys, this is your last chance to get your question answered. And again, my friend, my goodness, I feel like we really dove in. We got a lot of interaction with the community. My goal again was to break down what are the funding strategies out there, because I know a lot of you are looking to break through and to break into real estate investing, but you're not sure what's available, you're not sure what's how to tap into what's right for you right now. Okay, so these strategies again are all about you making the most out of what you have right now and getting a little bit creative, getting a little bit resourceful as well. Okay, so take some time, explore all the options that we recommended on this session as well as the last session. Guys, I just want you to know that your path to financial freedom starts with taking that first step and funding your down payment and funding your mortgage loan. Those are the two prongs. What's your down payment? What's the mortgage loan that you're going to be using to invest in this next property? This is just such a crucial part of your journey because this is how you're going to get the attention that you need from the realtors to start sending you deals so that you're not out here fighting for your life on these real estate streets, my dear friend. Okay. All right, friends. So we've covered a lot today. We've covered a lot. We went from building your funding super stack, talked about creative funding super stack, and I shared with you my extra secret hack that I look for when I am going into a specific market. Remember, everything is figure outable. If one lender says no, I want you to keep knocking, keep knocking, keep knocking on doors until you find the right one. Okay, do not take no for an answer. This journey, of course, isn't easy, but it's totally worth it. I've seen many of my students close on properties this year. Our community was able to close on 7 million worth of real estate in the last 6 months. So I know it's totally possible. Stay encouraged, my friend. Stay focused. Right? What's your one thing? What is the one thing you need to do to move the needle forward? Is it that, okay, you're not able to get funding at this juncture? Well, how do you position yourself, right, to get funding? Do you need to work on your credit to improve that, right? Whatever it may be, start putting in those reps, start putting in the work to make it a no-brainer that it's going to happen for you. Okay, so until next time, my dear friends, keep dreaming big and keep taking those steps towards financial freedom. And by the way, guys, I would love to invite you all to an exclusive in-person experience. This is a game changer. I've been sharing about this, but we only have a few tickets left, okay? Very exclusive, only 20 attendees. I'm going to hold your hand and walk you through the entire process of securing your first or your next luxury short-term or mid-term rental property. Just like we talked about earlier, I'm going to walk you through the funding. I'm going to walk you through the tax strategies. We're going to have the resources in the room. This is your chance, my friends, to get that insider access to these strategies. It's your chance to get these connections that with people really who are going to make their real estate dreams into a reality. So here's what you need to do. Feel free to comment. Let's see, what's a good word to comment? Let's see. I'm drawing a blank. Comment the word. What's a good word to comment? I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. Grow. Let's do that. Comment the word grow. Comment the word grow. Okay. If you comment the word grow, we're going to go ahead and send you all the details to share with you what it would look like to sign up for this October retreat in beautiful Serenbe, Georgia, luxury retreat, luxury getaway. It's 3.5 days. It's completely immersive. Only 20 individuals, high caliber individuals. It is designed only for serious investors. It's designed for people who are really, really ready to take action. And there's only 7 spots available, my friends. So I want you to act fast. I want you to secure your spot. The sooner you secure your spot, the more bonuses associated, such as 50% off of your room that we're happy to cover for you. But this is my goal for you guys. I want you to hit your 2024 goal as it relates to real estate investment. So in this retreat, guys, you're going to discover everything you need on how to own your 2 doors, the 2 powerful doors that will reliably bring in more revenue for you month after month. Our two doors, when we realized how much revenue we were able to get from our first two properties, my husband, he was like, peace out. He retired from his W-2. And so we took advantage of that. We got to save massively on taxes and we got to get the freedom that we crave. Okay. So just to give you an overview, I'm getting a couple of questions. Oh, about to close on a property next week. Congratulations. Oh my gosh. Massive congratulations. I'm gonna throw this in the broadcast right there. Love that. Love that. And I'm gonna go back to my scene because I'm gonna add it to my broadcast. Everyone, give a hand clap for Marie. Oh my gosh, come on, party hats, hand claps. Oh, I think I have sound effects for you. Hang on. Did that work? Love that. Okay, so let me wrap it up, Marie. I just could not help but to celebrate with you, my friend Marie Branch. Okay, so here's what we're talking about, guys. So once you get there, it's all about getting you set up. Imagine aligning your property with a brand that is so influential it was featured on Netflix, right? This is what we're offering in the rental wealth retreat. There's my friend. So it's going to be a step-by-step guide. This is an implementation retreat. You bring your laptops. I'm going to share with you all the strategies of how our members are pivoting between short and midterm rentals with their properties, okay? Exclusive access to all of my templates, everything that I use inside of my business. We're going to be elbow to elbow. I'll be there in the flesh. There's something magical that happens when you show up in person. There is magic that happens when you show up in person. So feel free to DM me the word grow or go to mtrwealth.com. That is mtrwealth.com to get some information on this life-changing retreat. Remember, this is limited. Only 7 spots are available and they're filling up fast. So I can't wait to see you there and help you take the next step towards financial freedom. Let's make it happen together, my friends. Love you all to the moon and back. Have a good night, everyone. I'm kind of late for Taco Tuesday, so let me go and take care of that. Bye-bye for now.